Okay, as always, if you've got any questions, feel free to unmute yourself or type into the chat box. The only equipment you're going to need today is the usual, your letter ball. If you don't have a letter ball, some kind of a ball with letters and numbers on it, you can always use a rolled up pair of socks. And I don't have mine here right now, but a rolled up pair of socks, a dog toy, a stress ball, yeah, anything you have, preferably with an interesting pattern for your eyes to look at. So we play some games with the letter ball. And then the only other thing you're going to need is 2 pencils, preferably pencils that have a brand or lettering on them. It could be a Sharpie, it could be a pencil, but just something with specific letters and numbers on it. Okay. And then, as always, remember with this class also, because we are working your visual vestibular system, remember that it's normal and it's okay if you start to feel tired eyes, itchy eyes, watery eyes, maybe a little dizzy or something like that. That is all okay, but it means that you've met your edge and we don't want to go too far past your edge. So you can always slow down, close your eyes, and take a break. Okay, that looks good. Great. So we'll come back to a seated or standing grounded position of some sort. And we'll just start with a few shoulder circle rolls. Just starting to come into the body a little bit more, noticing how you're feeling. Okay, good. We'll still the body. We'll close the eyes. And starting with noticing your breath, and feel free to put hands on your low belly if that's helpful. And just noticing where your breath is moving in and out of, and seeing if you can invite that breath to move in and out of your low belly. So we're taking that nice low belly breath, which helps calm the nervous system. And if you're able to, only breathing in and out of your nose. And then let's just find the center axes of our body and a bit of a body scan through there. So just noticing the very top of your head, moving down through your neck. How's your neck feeling today? Your upper and your mid back, your low back. And then how do your hips feel, whether you're seated or standing? Can you sense your hips? Can you feel your hips? And then all the way out through your tailbone. You're just noticing your legs. And then dropping that line down into your feet. Giving your toes a wiggle if you can. And just finding that center axis of your body. So either pushing your sit bones down into your chair and feet down into the floor, and then reaching the crown of your head up to the sky. Have you set your intention for class today? Take one more inhale, one more exhale, and then we'll open the eyes. Awesome. Okay, let's bring both arms up to the sky. Opening the fingers if you can, maybe pulling the wrists back, and then taking an articulating dive as low to the ground as you can. I'm gonna have you pause at the bottom. Let's just take a couple of breaths into the back. And then slowly articulating yourself up and back to the center. Slide the hands behind your head if you can. Otherwise, hands can come to your chest. And then I want you to pull your chest forward and look up. And if you're standing, let your hips pull forward. Good. And again, hands come up. Find an articulating dive down. Take an inhale at the bottom. And then exhale, roll up. Hands behind the head. Look up, pull the chest forward and hips forward if you're standing. Yeah, one more of those. Hands come up. Diving forward. Inhale at the bottom. Exhale, roll up. Hands behind the head. Look up, chest forward. Okay, good. We're going to leave the hands behind the head. Again, if that's too much for your shoulders, you can always cross the arms in front of the chest. So you're going to open the elbows as far away from each other as you can. Really find some expansion through your chest. And then you're going to try to have the two elbows kiss each other. And you're going to round down, trying to touch your nose to your belly button. Inhale, open the chest, open the elbows, expand. Exhale, close the elbows, nose to belly button. Good. Inhale, open. That's it. And exhale, close. Inhale, open. And exhale, close. Okay, good. Just go ahead and shake that out. Let's come into some nervous system work here. So we'll take the hands and using, actually, you know what, hang on. Let's do one more thing. Sorry, one more thing for the shoulders, everybody. I just want you to shrug the shoulders up and then shrug them down. Yeah, just straight up and down. But really exaggerating it. How high up can you get your shoulders? How low down? How high up? How low down? There we go. Inhale to shrug up. Exhale to unshrug. Inhale up. Exhale down. Okay, good. Then we're going to take the arms up overhead. And you're going to do the same thing. Shrug up, shrug down. Shrug up, shrug down. And thinking of letting your rib cage move with you. So inhale as you go up, let the ribs shrug up with the shoulders, and then exhale, everything comes down. Inhale up, exhale down. Two more. Up and down. Last one. Up and down. Good. Shake the arms out. Okay. You're going to give me the stop sign signal. Okay, so both hands out in front of you, pulling the wrists up. Yeah, you're going to just moving from the shoulder blades now. So not moving, we're not going to round the back too much, but you're going to push the shoulder blades away from each other. So just pushing the hands and the arms a few inches forward, and then pull those shoulder blades back, squeeze them together. Push the shoulder blades forward, pull them back. Push and pull. Yeah, it's a small movement. It's just coming from the shoulder blades, gliding around the rib cage to push forward, to pull back. Push forward, pull back. Last one, forward and back. Good. And then we'll take the arms behind, interlace the fingers if you can. Open up the chest, open up the collarbones. Okay, good. And we'll shake that out. Okay, we're going to now we're going to do the nervous system work. Sorry, jumped ahead of the game here. So we're going to work, I think we were doing this last week or the week before, I can't remember, but we're going to work along some of what we call the sutures of your skull. So believe it or not, our skull is made up of many, many different bones that come together in a joint called a suture. Sometimes the tissue in that area can get really tight and stiff. It can cause headaches, neck tension, shoulder tension, all of that. So we're just going to do a little bit of... Hi, welcome. Okay, so we're just going to do a little bit of release work over some of those sutures. So I want your fingers to come to the very center of your head. So if you had, here I do have a faux hawk. Okay, so like going down straight the center of your head. So we've got a suture separating the left half from the right half. And I want your fingers to come there. And I want you to put your fingertips or your knuckles there and just give that area a little bit of a massage. So I'm just moving my finger pads up and down and side to side and in circles. And I'm kind of basically trying to mobilize the skin on my scalp around. Again, this might sound silly, but this can release a lot of tension that you might have in your jaws, your head, your neck, and your shoulders. Okay, so just mobilizing that whole area, splitting your skull from the left to the right side. Okay. Good, and then shake the hands out. Yep. And then you're gonna come to the back of your head, and I want you to feel that big bump in the back of your head. Don't worry, that bump is supposed to be there, everybody. It's part of your skull. Okay, so right under that bump, kind of right under and around that bump is another suture. So I'm just going to show you my backside. So I just want you to, again, take your fingers and mobilize that area. So I'm just moving my finger pads in small circles, shifting my hands around my head, trying to get that whole back area. Okay, and then shake the hands out. Good, and then let's just do a few neck movements on with that. So you're gonna tilt your head to the left and tilt your head to the right. I know we didn't do a check and a recheck, but just go back and forth. Just noticing how that's feeling for you today. Okay, and then coming back to the center, and then again, just the head and the neck, turning, looking over one shoulder, looking over the other shoulder. And again, do that back and forth a few times. I'm gonna shed a layer here. Remember, if you've got hardware or a fusion in your neck, maybe do these movements more from your torso as opposed to your neck. Okay. Okay, good. And relax. Awesome. Okay, we're going to take your ears and we're going to do more of a pull away today. So you're going to kind of grab the tops or the backs of your ears. You can use your knuckles if that's easier, just to mobilize the ears. And you're going to pull your ears away from each other. It's a gentle pull. You're only pulling as much as you need where the tissue pulls back. Yeah, just kind of holding that, breathing into that. And then you're going to start to move your ears. And again, you can use your knuckles if that's more accessible for you. But you're just going to move the ears in slow circles, trying to find if you've got an area where you're like, oh yeah, pulling my ears up or pulling my ears back feels really good. And then just hold, when you get to one of those areas, just hold it. Take a couple of breaths into it. And then you can keep circling the ears around. Okay, good. We'll shake the hands out. Yeah. And then we're going to take hands, and this is best if you do skin on skin. So if you're wearing some kind of a shirt, like I'm just going to bring my fingertips again or knuckles to that area just right where my collarbones are. Yeah. The skin on skin is just nice because there's a bit of tackiness there. Okay, so yeah, if you can, you're gonna pull that skin down and then you're gonna tilt your head up like you're looking up at the sky, slide your lower jaw forward. Good, and then release that. Pull the skin down, tilt your head up, lower jaw forward, and release that. And then I want you to play with the angles. So like, for example, now I'm going to bring both of my hands over to my left collarbone, and I'm going to kind of tilt my head back into the right. And I just want you to play with that. Pulling at certain part, both of your hands can go crawling along your collarbones and tilting your head away from your fingers at whatever angle you're pulling at. We're stretching a superficial neck muscle here called the platysma, but we're also stretching some of the connective tissue. Can be nice to do it more on the side of the neck, like kind of high on the collarbone. And just seeing how that feels in all of the directions. Do you have certain areas where it feels a little bit more restricted? Okay, good. And then release that. And again, one more time, just for a recheck. Find a head tilt from side to side. Good. And then turning and rotating your head left to right. And just notice if anything changed there for you. Okay, awesome. Let's take fingertips or knuckles. We'll find that tapping under the collarbones, along the breastbone, making sure you get that whole area. Seeing if you can return to belly breathing if you're not already. Okay. And then we're going to add in some face movements with this, and we're going to do our get big, get small. So again, you can do this one seated or standing, but you're going to get big. So arms reach out and up overhead, open the fingers, taking up as much space in the room as you can. And I want you to open your mouth really big, stick your tongue forward. You can even make a ah sound, ah. And I want you to give yourself a hug, get really small, and you're going to make fishy lips, meaning you're going to suck your cheeks in towards each other. There we go. There we go. You got it. Yeah. And get small. You're going to get big, stick the tongue out. Ah. And then you're going to get small, maybe switch the direction your arms are crossed and make fishy lips. Get big. This time I want you to say E, like the letter E, and then you're going to get small, make fishy lips. Get big. You're going to say oh, that's it. That's it. Yeah. Get small, make fishy lips. Get big, say ah, stick the tongue out again, ah, and then get small and fishy lips. Good, and then shake that out. Awesome. Okay, let's do a little bit of body tapping here. I'm gonna back up again. Okay, so let's work, pick a side, any side, because we'll do both. But you're gonna tap going down the inside of the arm. Give the hand a rub, and then coming back up the outside of the arm. And we'll just do that a few times through. Remember with this tapping though, I'm using kind of an open cupped hand. You can use any tool you want. You could do more of a chop. You could do a fist. You could do more of a stroking motion. We're just trying to bring more proprioception, more awareness to these areas. So whatever feels good for you. Good, we'll switch over to the other side. Working down the inside of the arm. And then up the outside. And again, doing that a few times through. Noticing if the sides feel different. Noticing if you've got parts of your arms that are maybe sore or more tender than other parts. Okay, good. And then we're going to bring hands to our low back. I think I was mentioning last time, this is the month of the kidneys. So it's good to give a little bit of extra love to our kidneys, which is right where your hands are right now. And you're just going to do a circling. So instead of circling, excuse me, instead of the hula hoop we usually do, I'm just going to have you find basically a swaying circle. So let your shoulders tip over with you. I usually have you keep your shoulders and your ribs parallel with the floor, but this time I want your whole body to sway and tip with you. If you're standing, you're going to be doing a similar thing, but you're going to be circling the hips around the feet. Yeah, and keeping your hands right in your low back, just giving a little bit of heat and attention to the kidneys. And then everyone go ahead and switch directions. Just noticing how this is feeling for your back or your hips. This is also a really nice movement to help calm the nervous system. It's associated with the earth element. So it's kind of a good grounded place to come back to. Okay, good. And then coming back to the center. Okay. And then we're going to do a little bit of a stomach massage. So I'm just going to zoom in here again. So let's start with our usual finding a circular, clockwise rub over the belly. So we're aiding with digestion going in this direction. Okay, if you've been with me for a while and you've been doing this for a while, feel free to start to add a little bit more pressure into the hands. So maybe still moving in that circular direction, but starting to, that's a tender spot, starting to really press in with the fingers. When you get to a tender spot, take a breath into that area and then moving on to the next tender spot. Of course, if you've got any medical conditions or anything going on in your abdominal area, maybe just keep it really surface level. But if you're able to start sinking into the tissue, this is a really good way to give our organs a massage and to help keep that area of our body mobile. We often don't think of this area when we think of self-massage or range of motion, but all of our organs have a certain range of motion that they move through, just like your shoulder or your hip does. So it's important to keep that area really supple. Okay, good. Go ahead and shake that out. Let your breath go with that. Okay. Let's come into some of our lower body tapping. So we'll tap going down the outsides of the legs and then coming up the insides of the legs. And again, maybe playing with the kind of hand position you're using. Are you using a soft fist? Are you using a chopping motion, a stroking motion? Just doing that a few times through. And getting the tops of the thighs, giving that area a rub, giving the knees a rub. Okay, and you can stay with that rub on the thigh, or if you're able to come down to the feet and just give the feet a rub, squeeze the toes, squeeze the arch of your foot if you're not wearing shoes. Just saying a quick hello to the feet if you can. And then we'll shake that out. Okay. Awesome. Okay, let's come into some of our games here. So I'm gonna have you grab your letter ball. If you've been playing letter ball with me for a while, go ahead and jump right into playing that. If this is new to you, I'm gonna explain it. Make sure I've got everybody. Okay, great. Okay, so holding your ball or your object of some sort, you're going to start by holding it into your chest. Okay, you're going to pull it away from your body. Look at that object. Say the first letter or number you see. If you don't have letter numbers on that object, just pinpoint your eyes to a very specific point on it and then pull it back into your chest. Pull it away from your chest at a different angle, any angle around your body. Again, look at the object, pinpoint your eyes on a particular point, pull it back in. And same thing, pull that object away at a different angle, pinpoint your eyes to a particular point, and then pull it back in. And you're just going to continue with that, moving that object all the way around your body, above you, below you, to the side of you. And each time you're trying to land your eyes on a really precise point. So we're warming up the eyes and we're warming up the body and the spine with this. If you're able to play catch with that object, you can also do that. Okay, so it just makes it a little bit more challenging for your visual system. So throwing that object around you, freezing it right where you catch it, pinpointing your eyes on a precise point, and then throwing it around you at a different angle. Okay, I'm just going to watch folks here for a minute. Making sure your eyes land on that ball every single time you catch it. Every single time you catch it, landing your eyes on a particular point on that ball. Freeze it for a second or two, especially if this is your first time playing. I want you to freeze that ball for 1 or 2 seconds with your eyes looking at it, and then go again. Catch it, freeze it, look at the ball 1 or 2 seconds, and then go again. Catch it, freeze it, 1 or 2 seconds, and go again. Okay, for those of you playing with a letter ball of some sort, I'm going to layer on. If you don't have a letter ball, just keep playing how I've described it. Okay, so if you've got a letter ball, I'm going to give you 2 layers. Let's just start with 1 layer. So every time you catch a letter, I want you to either shrug your left shoulder, lift your left arm, or if you're standing, you can lift the left knee. Okay, so when you catch a letter, lift the left side of your body. When you catch a number, lift the right side of your body. Letter left, number right. Letter left, number right. Okay, start with that, and then I'll give you 1 more layer after that. Yeah, and you're just trying to make that decision as quickly as you can. You see the letter or number, you make a decision, your body reacts to it. The concept of this is called brain speed. You do it every day in your life. You just do it you just do it without maybe thinking about it. Yeah, your body is having to make a quick decision to something that is approaching you, or something that you are approaching or reaching out for, or bending over to pick up, or when you're driving. Yeah, good, good, good. Nice, everybody. Okay, I'm just gonna layer on one more time, and then we'll move on. Okay, I'm gonna add the recall game on with this. I think we did this last week. So you're gonna catch the ball. When you see a letter, you're gonna do the movement for that letter. Okay. So say for example, I get C. Okay. Next time, C8. Next time, C85. Okay. So you're gonna see if you can recall up to maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 digits, whatever that looks like for you. But you're only moving your body with the most recent letter or number that you caught. Okay. See how many letters or numbers you can recall, you can remember. Maybe start with 4. And if that feels too easy, go to 5. If that feels too hard, go to 3. Yeah. Yeah. Good, everybody. I like the variations. That looks good. Obviously, the more digits you're trying to remember, the harder this game gets. So really pulling on your memory here. Yeah. Yeah. Remember, dropping the ball is a good thing. Dropping the ball means that you found your edge. If we're not dropping the ball or we're not challenging ourselves or stumbling around with the ball, if you're throwing it, if you're moving it, don't worry about that. But if you're throwing it, dropping it is a good thing. It just means you found your edge. Okay, just do a few more throws wherever you're at. And then we can set that ball down. We'll come back to a little bit more movement here. Okay, good. Let's bring both arms up to the sky. We'll interlace the fingers if we can. We'll come into a side bend to the left, and then you're just going to let that side bend roll through the center and then up onto the right and back to the center. Yeah, going back the other way. Side bend to the right, roll through the center and up on the left. Good. Side bend, rolling through, up on the other side. One more. Side bend, rolling through, and up on the other side. Good. We'll bring the arms out into a goal post position. Try to keep your elbows at shoulder height if you're able to. Okay. And we're just going to find an internal, external rotation with your shoulders. So goal post facing up, goal post facing down. Yeah, really trying to open up the shoulders or close the shoulders in both directions. For those of you standing, you can also do the standing version, heels together and then toes together. Heels together, toes apart, and then the other way. So just going in and out, helping to mobilize the hips there. Good. And then let's find a few wrist circles around the elbows. Yeah, really making that circle big, maybe even pulling the arms behind you, exaggerating that circle. For standing athletes, if you want to bring that into some knee circles, you can do that too. So all of these joints actually mirror each other in kind of a cool way. The elbows and the knees are really similar. The ankles and the wrists are similar. And the hips and the shoulders are actually quite similar too. Okay, and coming back to the center. Yep. Coming into a little bit of wrist work here. So arms out in front of you, make a fist. Okay, let's just start with pulling the fist up and down. For seated or standing athletes here, if you want to do that on one or both of your ankles, you could do the same thing, pointing and flexing your ankle. And you can do that from a seated or a standing position. Making sure you're doing both sides for the ankles. Okay, and then we're going to do drawing the alphabet. So keeping your hands in a fist as much as you can. I want you to simultaneously, you're going to draw the alphabet with both hands. So A, B, and you're just tracing the alphabet with your wrists or tracing the alphabet with your ankles. Okay, so again, balancing on one leg or in a seated position. You can do uppercase, lowercase, whichever you want to do. Yeah, this looks great. It kind of looks like you're all conductors right now. Yeah, I want you to move really mainly from the wrist and the ankle. So we're really moving the wrist and the ankle around. Try not to move the whole arm, just moving from the wrist and the ankle. Yeah, good. Okay, do a few more letters there. And then shake the hands out, shake the feet out. Okay, moving one more time. Just give the shoulders a few shoulder circle rolls. Okay. Okay, we'll come into a couple more visual things here. So I'm going to have you grab your pencils. Yeah, if you don't have your pencils, make sure you've got two pens or pencils, preferably with letters or numbers on them, like a brand name or something like that. Okay, great. Okay, so let's start. Actually, let's start with our smooth pursuits here. So just holding one of those, let's hold pencil in your left hand. Let me back up a little bit so you can see me. So you're gonna move that left hand. My head and my nose are gonna be facing forward the whole time. You're gonna move you're gonna move that pencil in a half circle around your body. So I'm just doing a half circle on the left side of my body, holding that pencil in my left hand. And just my eyes are tracking the pencil. My head isn't moving. Okay, so I'm just doing a semicircle on the left side of my body. For folks that are blind or visually impaired, I want you doing the same thing, but you're gonna trace your nose with the pencil. So you are gonna move your head, neck, and nose with that pencil. So your head is basically gonna be tracing a semicircle as well. Yeah, try not to move the head on this one for everyone else. There we go, nice work. Mhm. And you're really trying to challenge that range of motion. I want your eyes to feel like they're straining. Just do one more, and then take your pencil in the other hand and do the exact same thing, but on the other side. Drawing that semicircle on the right side of your body. Or for folks who are blind or visually impaired, tracing your nose with that semicircle. Mhm, mhm. Yeah. What areas of that circle do you feel like you're avoiding? Or what areas of that circle feel the hardest for you? Is it maybe the upper part of that circle, the lower part of that circle? So just noticing, like, what is the hardest part for you? Good. Do one more. Yeah, yeah. A lot of people struggle with the higher part of the circle. Okay, good. And relax. Okay, we're just going to move that into some eye jumps, what we call saccades. So I'm just going to have you do, let's actually do this. Let me make sure my pencils are upright. I want you to look at, you've got two brands. So if you're holding two pens or pencils, say you have a Sharpie, you're holding two Sharpies. You're going to hold those two Sharpies out to the side. Same idea, your head isn't going to move. We're just going to have the eyes jumping back and forth. So I want your eye to go from the S of one Sharpie to the S of the other. H to H, A to A, R to R, P to P, I to I, and so on. If you don't have Sharpies, you're just working down the letters that are on each pencil, jumping your eyes back and forth. So you have to remember what letter you last did, and then you're jumping the eyes back and forth. And I want you to do about 20 side to side, 20 up and down, and 20 at both of your diagonals. For folks that are blind or visually impaired, you're just going to turn this into the VOR. So your head is going to be shaking left, right, up, down, and at the two diagonals. So you might notice the eyes are moving slower because now you're having to track an exact letter down. This surprisingly makes this one quite a bit harder than, say, when you're just looking at, like, the tip of the pencil. When you have to track between letters, it's quite a bit more challenging for our brain. So it's okay if you're moving slower.
Wait, with pencils or without pencils on the moving the head up, down?
Yeah,
Like,
if you can, yeah, Julie, because you can, like when you hold that pencil out in front of you, how is your vision looking at the tip of that pencil?
right eye, or what is it, left eye, I can see out of, right eye, not see.
Yeah. So keep that pencil in front of you and look at the tip of the pencil. If you can see a letter on the pencil, then do your head shakes. No, you can't. Okay. Yeah, then just
that distance, no.
okay, no worries. Yeah, then still use the pencil because it's nice for sorry, I think you said your left eye. It's nice for your left eye to keep your eye on that pencil.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah. And Julie, that goes for all of the stuff we do. When we're shaking the head, use the pencil in front of you still.
Okay, I'm just modifying it for my needs.
Say it one more time.
I'm modifying it for my needs.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, good. So yes, I see people are still working through that. If you're doing the diagonals, keep working your way through those. And if you're done, just so I know, go ahead and put both of your pencils down. And then I just want you to find a nice articulation down to the ground. And just finding a few breaths into the back of the ribs there. Okay, we'll take one more inhale here. And then exhale to roll up. Awesome. Okay. Let's come back to a few spinal movements here. So now we'll find that hula hooping of the ribs around your, sorry, let me make sure I'm saying it right. Hula hooping of the ribs around your pelvis. So now I want your shoulders and your ribs to stay parallel with the floor. Yeah, and if you're standing, trying to keep the hips steady as you hula hoop around. I'm really trying to hit all of the edges of that circle. Switch directions. Okay, good. And then coming back to the center. Okay, give one more little shake out here. Let your breath go. Okay, let's finish with one more neck stretch here before I send you on your way. So let's take left hand, if you're able to. The hand behind the head is not a big deal. But yeah, left hand is going to be behind the head, kind of cupping the back of the head. I don't want your hand pushing the head forward. It's just really gentle. Okay. You're going to find, let me make sure I'm doing this right, a head tilt to your right. Or I'm sorry, I'm saying that wrong. Everyone, other way. Head tilt to your left. So I want you to head tilt towards your hand. There we go. Yes. Okay. Keep that head tilt. And now add a small rotation of the head. So keep the head tilt. I'm pointing my nose down. I'm pointing my nose up. I'm looking down. I'm looking up. And the hand is just kind of guiding the head. The hand is just there for moral support, really. Okay. Okay. And then release that and come all the way up. Yep. Other side. So right hand behind the head tilt to your right. Okay, keep that head tilt, add that small rotation, looking up, looking down, pointing the nose up, pointing the nose down. Head is just there for guidance and moral support. Okay, and then release that and come back to the center. Find a few more shoulder circle rolls. All right, good. We'll land in the center. All of you close your eyes. We can bring both hands back to the belly if that's helpful. Finding your breath again. And then finding that same vertical axis. Noticing the top of your head, down your neck, down your spine. Just seeing how your awareness, your proprioception is of these areas. Can you sense them? Can you feel them? Coming all the way out through your tailbone. Moving down the legs. And into the feet. Go ahead and think of one thing you're grateful for today. We'll take one more inhale, one more exhale, and we'll open the eyes. All right. Thank you for joining, everybody.